Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? This is Abhijit here from Devops Challenge Hub, and let's dive into today's interview question. So I'm sharing my screen. So today's interview question is, what is dynamic provisioning? And dynamic provisioning using a storage class in Kubernetes. So yesterday we have discussed about persistent volume and persistent volume claim, PV and PVC, right? So if you want to look at more details, then you can refer to yesterday's video number 24 uh, in Kubernetes series. So in persistent volume, we have seen that a piece of storage in the cluster provided by admin, it can be static, statically provisioned or dynamically provisioned. Okay. And yesterday we have seen how we can uh, take one host path and use that as a PV, and then we create PVC. Today we'll see that without creating PV, we will be able to create a PVC and how that storage will be dynamically provisioned. Okay. So let's and I will show you one example also, and at the end we'll have quiz so that it will reinforce your concept. So participate in the quiz at the end of the video. So stay till the end. So what is a dynamic provision? Dynamic provision, earlier we have seen the static thing. So dynamic provision is automatic way. So with dynamic provision, Kubernetes automatically create a persistent volume. So yesterday we have seen that we are doing kubectl apply minus f pv.yml. Right? But here it will be automatically creating persistent volume when a user creates a PVC based on the storage class definition. So PV and PVC difference, we know that PV we are booking it in like let's say booking beforehand. So we pre-book a hotel and wait for someone to come and ask for the specific room. That is a static provisioning. Dynamic is automatic way where we walk into the hotel and say that I want a room. Okay. So let's start with this. We'll go to the example first. So here I have created a cluster, kind cluster. I have installed kind and put kubectl and created a kind cluster. And cluster I have used a config kube config map and config. Use the kind cluster config, kind config, and here role is control and extra mount is host path, TMP dynamic PV, and container path is TMP dynamic PV. So this allocation will be done automatically. So for that, we need to also need provision, local path provision. Okay. So what we have done, we have created a kind create cluster. We have created a cluster. Now we'll install local path provisioner, which will act like a dynamic PV controller. So let's do that. Kubectl apply minus f. Done. And we'll make it a default storage class. Okay. So last time you remember that we have pv.yml, but this time we don't have any pv.yml. So persistent volume, local PV, and we had this pv.yml and we applied this pv.yml using kubectl apply minus a pv.yml, but this time we are not going to do that. So we'll create PVC directly, no need to define PV manually. So let's look at the PVC. This is the dynamic one. Kind is persistent volume claim, dynamic PVC, read write once, access mode, and storage is 1 gigabyte. So in yesterday's session, I have explained all this storage and all the attributes. So let's apply this one. kubectl apply minus f PVC dynamic. Done. and let's say kubectl get pvc and get pv. So pv we have not created any resource, right? Because it's a dynamically it will be created, and pvc it's getting created is pending. Pvc here is pending. It will take some time. So now we go and create pod. So pod URL dynamic pod. So kind is pod. Name is dynamic PV pod. Container name is my container. Image is busybox, and running this command sleep for 1 hour. So 1 hour this container will be active. And mounting this path slash there to storage, and storage is mapped to dynamic PVC. So claim name is dynamic PVC. So as we have seen, kubectl get PVC showing dynamic PVC got created. So that's the claim name. So we'll apply this kubectl apply -f pod environment. So pod got created, kubectl get pods. Yes, pending. So let it be running. Okay. So it will take some time to run. By that time, it will be getting into this pod. That's it. Okay. It's creating creating and now in running state. So let's get inside this pod. kubectl exit -it dynamic PV prod sh. So we have got into the pod, and now we'll write some data into slash data. And if I do cat, we can see this data, dynamic PV test. Now is it the pod? So we have written some data into that slash data. To see pod.oml with the amount of slash data we wrote some data, and that is using storage, which is a dynamic PVC, and which will be provisioned by local provision dynamically. Now, question is whether this path will be visible on localhost path. Since it's running on Docker container, as we have discussed in the last video, so it has to be path will be inside the Docker. So if we go to Docker, we'll get inside the Docker exit -it dynamic PV sh, and if we look into that path temp dynamic PV is there, dynamic -PV, and there is nothing. So it's dynamically allocated means this it won't be available here, it will be available in some other path, and that path we have to figure it out. So where is the file? So file is in OPT local path provisioner. OPT local path provisioner. So inside that path we'll be able to see. So what we can do find. We can find for this.txt file in that path. So you can see OPT local path provisioner, then it has created some PVC something, default dynamic PVC, and this.txt. If I do cat, so it's not in the standard path, it's in some other location. Yeah. So you can see that content is visible. So it's in the local path, but in some other location, not like in the static we have seen. If you go to a TMP, that PV kind PV or MNT kind PV, we are able to see the file. But here, since it is dynamically provisioned, it will be some other path which will be under OPT local path provisioner and some dynamically generated name. So that's it, and let's go to today's quiz. What does dynamic provision mean in Kubernetes? Manually creating persistent volume before there is no automatically creating persistent volume claim from user input, automatically creating persistent volume when a PVC created using a storage class. So PV will be created when automatically will be created when PVC is created using a storage class. So that is the correct answer. PV will be automatically created when that claim is made. Which Kubernetes object is responsible for defining how dynamic storage is provisioned? Which Kubernetes object? So object is storage class. When using dynamic provisioning, what is the result of applying a PVC that references a valid storage class? What is the result of applying a PVC that references a valid storage class? So it will wait for a matching PV to appear. Kubernetes creates a new PV automatically. Kubernetes throws error. Kubernetes deletes existing PVC. So answer will be B. Kubernetes creates a new PV automatically. When there is a reference, then Kubernetes will create a new PV automatically. So that's it for today. I hope you like this video. Please like and share this video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow Devops Challenge Hub page where I post quiz daily and can participate in the contest. And also follow WhatsApp channel where this quiz and YouTube video get posted regularly, daily basis. So thank you for watching this video, and see you again in the next video.